boot up, but we'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe we have one public comment. And you can come on up, Ms. Snipes. You're always welcome. Commission asks that the comments be limited to a max number of 5 minutes. Please state your name and address. I forgot one time and I paid the fine.
How are you guys doing?
Good, Ms.
Good to see
Snipes,
you.
how are you?
I'm okay. So I am here today. Of course, June 1st is right around the corner. And of course, with the awareness for a safe community, getting everything going with that. And with moms, which the first meeting will be announced on June 1st, which will also be in June as well, which will be held at a location which will be announced as well. I am asking for the mayor, or one of the commissioners, or acting mayor, however you guys distinguish that, I have a proclamation that I don't have with me today on June 1st, to have that proclamation as a day for Junction City, as being a awareness for a safe community or gun violence day.
You can just submit that to the city clerk and we'll take care of that.
Okay, awesome.
It's not a problem.
All right,
Do it.
awesome, great. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Snipes.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very
Good
much.
to
All
see you.
right,
Thanks for
thank
coming.
you.
Ma'am.
Move on to the consent agenda. Are there any questions?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is to conduct a public hearing for the performance of the grant agreement number 18PF022 CDBG Playground Park Project. We will open that hearing at this time. Is there any public comment?
Mayor Lansing, Commissioners, just real quickly, this is one of the requirements of the grant. And after the hearing is done, we'll need to have a motion to, one, close the grant out, and to also accept the final drawdown of money. So drawdown number 3. The project is a success. The total cost of the project, we got $188,244 from Community Development Block Grant. The city matched that 50/50, and of course, part of that match was paid by fundraising in the Bramlage Family Foundation. And then, of course, we went over budget because, if you remember, the cost of equipment was over, and we proved through it. But you talk about success, we got one.
Is there any public comment? Going once, going twice. We will close the public hearing and move on to special presentations.
Should we
Could you
do
go
them?
ahead
Oh,
and do a
sorry.
motion to close out, or accept drawdown number 3 and close out the grant?
Say so moved.
What?
Just say so moved.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Now move on to special presentations.
We have by here.
She's not here tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's always there.
Mental Health Month 2019 Proclamation, Fitness for Mind and Fitness for Body. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, and whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, And whereas there is strong research that diet, exercise, sleep, stress management can all help Americans protect their health and well-being, and whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas each business, school, governmental agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. Therefore, the City of Junction City does hereby proclaim May 2019 as Mental Health Month and calls upon all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in the City of Junction City to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, its relationship to a strong, vibrant community, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. Hear, hear. Thank you. I don't know if that was a sign of our mental health or what. See, our next time we'll move on to new business. First item is consideration of the event proposal by the Breaking Bread Group of Junction City Incorporated for a night out in Junction City homelessness awareness in Junction City. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm used to saying good morning, but good evening. Debbie Savage with Breaking Bread. I've been here before. The last time I think I spoke was before you guys extended our 2019 meals for Friday nights. Just to give you an update, we've served over 3,600 meals so far to date.
This year?
No, not this year. This is since October, since we've been serving since. But this new proposal is for homelessness awareness. Since we've been doing Breaking Bread, we've had several individuals that have come that have been homeless, and we even have a friend that had a situation that he was not able to stay at the open door for circumstances. And since then, we have been on the board at the open door. They have policies that have limited people being able to stay there. And so that has raised our awareness of the need for some change, find out who the organizations are that help those that need those assistances. And so I have a friend that had worked in Kokomo, Indiana, and she worked at a homeless shelter, and they have done events like this before. So it's a night out. Now, on the thing that you had received on page 60, at the very end, it said the tentative date and the tentative location. Mm-hmm. The location has changed. That was nixed by the people who own that property, and which is fine. There are potentially other locations that we could possibly use, but with that, it may have also changed just the dynamics of the event. The actual event, the night out, would be like a 12 to 14-hour night where people come at 6 o'clock. They, if they're going to stay out overnight, they're carrying their bags, their sleeping bags, their chairs, whatever they're going to stay in that night. They're given scenarios of what their situation is. You walk to a location. Originally, it was going to be the health department from Cloud County. To the health department, seek your services. If you didn't have an ID, they help you get IDs, things like that. So different organizations were going to help assist us with the scenarios, such as the PD, the police department, doing mock checks. And I've already talked with several officers, sergeants from there, that said they'd be willing to help, not actually run checks, but part of the scenario. So different agencies that do assist, the food bank, the open door itself, health department, obviously, different organizations that do assist, and this is still all in the planning stages, all still working out all the details, but did not know at this point. Kind of when I heard the no yesterday, it kind of made things change for me a little bit. If it may just be an evening where you have those organizations come and speak to people about the situations and their ability to help those in need. But what I had proposed was basically everyone coming together, experiencing a night out, then the next morning talking about what changes need to be made, what policies need to be changed. But since we've been on the board, since I had brought it up to the director there, they have been starting to make those steps to change bylaws that were written back in the 60s that would help assist more people. The grants that they have received and that they are requesting are helping more people once they receive those grants. So I don't know what else to say at this moment. But do you want to add?
Well, right now, we just really wanted you guys to be aware of the presentation and to understand that we did feel as an organization like there was a need for some awareness in the community. A lot of people aren't aware that there are homeless people in Junction City. If you start talking to them about it, they're like, well, we don't really have a problem, because they have a kind of a fixation with Topeka or Los Angeles, California, where you have people just lined the streets and living on the streets, and we don't have that problem, thank God, in Junction City. But we did want to try to raise awareness of the local population, at least, that there is a problem. It's not a, not a problem to the extent that some cities have, but there is a problem. So that's what we were trying to find out, is to find out what interests you as a commission and as a city have in having an event like this, so we can kind of tailor the event even to what you believe the public needs to know, or what awareness needs to be raised in our community. So it's kind of, we're trying to make a concerted effort. As Debbie said, we've talked to several agencies that are very supportive of the idea, but it's really going to take one organization, and that's why Debbie brought it up with Breaking Bread. It's really going to take one organization to pull it all together, and that's what we're trying to do. So
There's no need to decide anything tonight. I mean, it's something you guys can discuss, so, but just thought we'd bring it up, so.
Well, good luck with getting your planning all put together.
We will keep you informed.
yes.
Looking for a place yet, or? I mean,
When I heard yesterday that the Cloud County was not going to be available, I did reach out to 2 other locations, one of which was actually where we serve our dinners, which is 12th Street, which is Donna Swihart, but obviously that would require the city to approve that, and I'm not asking for that at this moment. She's not opposed of it at all. She even said the tentative dates that I have here, the 12th and the 13th, were open so far. I know they are not open first thing in the morning on Saturdays if we do an overnight type thing. Again, it's still moving. A lot of plans are in place, but she says they do make arrangements sometimes to have it open early if we need to do that. So, and then there's another location, possibly the church that we attend has a large enough parking lot, but that one you have to be careful with. There's a lot of traffic that goes through that parking lot, so that is one thing we're thinking of, so. But anyway, thank you for listening. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
Nope.
Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you so much, Ed and Debbie, for doing this. This is a tremendous effort, and just going out of your way, as you have already done one time before, as with the meals and everything. This is just another testament of just the good deed people that's in this city. So thanks again for doing this.
Thank you.
let us know how we can help.
Thank you guys for being so supportive, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Our next item is consideration of the final plat of the Sonic addition to the city of Junction City.
Mayor Landis, Commissioners. This is Call Valley's request, acting as agent on behalf of Darrell Rogers, who's the owner, seeking approval of the final plat of the Sonic addition to Junction City. It's a replat of a portion of Track 1 of the Big Bull addition, located basically at 827 South Washington. It's where the Sonic Drive-In is located. The purpose of this plat is to combine those 2 existing parcels where the restaurant and the playground is into a single legal lot in preparation for a new Sonic being built. Planning Commission reviewed this during their May meeting earlier this month and recommended approval. It's my understanding that they're going to try to do all of this without having to close for business. So they're going to demolish the playground, build the new restaurant on that site, and then demolish the restaurant and build a new playground on that site. So there's flip-flopping. There's going to be a drive-through, just like the one in Manhattan. And I think there's one at the one in Abilene as well. So not only is it a drive-in restaurant, there'll be a drive-through as well. So utilities are in place. The plat shouldn't affect that, but as they get ready to move forward, they can probably get this done pretty quickly, I would think. Especially, and they're going to close for business, and they're going to want to get the construction done and finished and cleaned up so that there's a minimum of disruption. So, Planning Commission didn't see any problem with it. Neither do I. Like I said, they recommended approval, and shouldn't be any big problem.
Questions for Mr. Livingston? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to move that the sonic addition to the City of Junction City, Gary County, Kansas be approved. The mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign the plat, accepting any dedications thereon.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Next item is consideration to award the 2019 street maintenance to, or rebid to Buyer Construction Company in the amount of $1,001,979.60.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, on April 16th, the City Commission rejected the 2019 street maintenance bid on the recommendation from city staff that the amount of the bid was $1.7 million, which would not have been covered under the city budget that we had at the time. We have $1.25 million in the 2019 street maintenance improvement budget, and we were instructed to go ahead and see if we could do the asphalt phase of it. With that, Call Valley developed preliminary plans, construction estimate, and quantities of material for the 2019 street maintenance project. And on May 14th, we had a formal bid opening, and we had one bidder, and that was Buyer Construction for $1,001,970,000. The engineer's estimate was $1,039,123, and buyer's estimate was $37,144 lower than the engineer's estimate. Therefore, we recommend that the City Commission approve the awarded bid for the 2019 street maintenance rebid project to Buyer Construction for $1,001,970. I'd be happy to answer questions you may have.
We shared a map last meeting of the streets. Ray, are we still talking about doing that intersection at Ash and Eisenhower?
Yes, we're going to, Mr. Nickel, we're going to go out and go ahead and try to go bid since we have about $200 and some odd thousand left over, see if we can get that put in for this year too.
Is the $1.25 million including the monies from KDOT to help with
Well,
McFarland?
they'll come back down. I mean, if there's 1 million right here, you're going to spend 925, give or take. We had 1.1 budgeted, and with our other with some stuff we can cover it and get that done.
Yeah,
And
we
why,
get-
Why do we? I mean, I know why, but why do we want to do the intersection at Ash and Eisenhower?
There's an enormous amount of rutting and breakage on that asphalt when you come up on the intersection because it's so steep, and it's caused a lot of problems there. So we want to take care of that, try to do that in concrete so we don't have that issue anymore.
Any questions?
Make a motion, we approve the bid to Buyer Construction Company for the 2019 street maintenance rebid as presented.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners.
Next item, consideration of the facilities rental policy and the agreement for City Hall. Mr. Dinkle? Ms. Miller?
Mayor, Commissioners, with the recent resurfacing of the gym floor, we thought it warranted review of the policies of the gym to try to keep it looking nice as long as we possibly can. So what we did is we went through and kind of updated policies. The policy, one thing that we did change is we upped the price of the chairs and the table. And what that'll do is that'll include the cost of us setting it up, because we thought that that might help keep it in better shape and, not drag the chairs and the tables across the floor. So we just increased it that by a small amount. And other thing was just basically clarity. And then also, we're saying like we don't want outside tables and chairs, so we can make sure that they're appropriate for the floor, to help protect it. So those were the main things that we changed.
So if you're gonna use the chairs and tables, we have to set them up, right?
Yes,
They
correct.
can't do it.
Correct, yes.
And Ed's staff has gone through and taken all the chairs and tables without proper rubber tippings and, people are just remark how great the floor is and how it looks, and our goal is to keep it that way. Ed plans to, in his budget process, we'll do that next month, but do a rescreening.
Yeah, annually, like we do at 12th Street, $1,000 amount. They come in and they just kind of, on a buffer pad, they screen the floor and just take just a very, very fine top layer off any scratch. Put down one coat. We just completed that at the community center here. Brightens the floor up every year. Should get many years out of that floor if we do that.
The floor is just, people just remark, and it's now a pleasant place to have something.
Definitely compared to what it used to look like.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the updated facilities rental policy and agreement as recommended by staff.
Second.
Been moved and second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is set budget work session dates in June for departmental presentations of budgets.
Mayor, Commissioners, with the upcoming budget, we want to go ahead and set up at least 2 budget work sessions in the month of June. As part of the packet was the month of June with some possible dates. We also have available, if we need another date, we could do June 10th. I believe we were going to try to do 2 work sessions from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then we can do a third follow-up one, maybe like before a commission meeting if needed. So I guess it would just kind of come down to what dates would work good for you guys.
The goal, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the dates that don't have the hash mark are available.
Yeah.
I'm good for all of them.
The goal, of course, is to, at our July 16th meeting, to put the budget to bed, basically, and to have a motion to go to a public hearing in the first meeting in August, which I can't remember the date right now, the first meeting in August. That we meet all, and I don't know the reason why we can't. We actually could go to the second meeting in August, because.
6 August.
Yeah, have it done by 6th August. You technically could have your hearing on the 20th of August. That's a little later in the date, but still fine. But there's no reason why we can't get them before then. Staff has done a lot of work, and this week we're going through all the departments. Lindsay and I are, and Denise, and so we're right on path. And then Lindsay made a beautiful, staff made a beautiful budget guide to work through. So make sure you get one after the meeting.
You guys want to try the 19th and the 26th, maybe? Both Wednesdays?
Good for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm good with that.
I am as well.
I think we can try it. We can go for it.
Actually, I may be out of town that week, the last week of the month. I'm good. I'm good, though.
19th and 20th?
Yeah, that'd be
So I
fine.
think that would work better for me too, 19, 20.
I can do that.
1920 is good for me.
The only downside, and no downside, we did it last year too.
Right.
On the 20th, we'll meet over there because court's here that night, but it was fine last year over there too, so.
19th and 20th is good for me.
Yeah, 19, 20 should work fine for me.
Do a
Everybody,
motion.
everybody good?
Make a motion, we set our budget work session dates for June 19th and 20th.
6
I'll
to 8.
second it.
Oh, 6 to 8.
I'll second it.
6 to 8.
Been moved and second. Is there any further discussion? Oh, Alan's buying dinner those nights? Did anyone mention that?
Oh, what?
Do I need to put
Alan's
that in
buying
my
dinner.
motion?
Right,
I'm going to make a motion for that.
very important. All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Last item is discuss the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Project.
Need to start thinking about, we need to apply for another grant. As you know, the survey that was done 2 years ago that showed the low moderate income at 72%, I believe it was. We can use that one more time. It has to be a project that fits the whole community. We've had some different ideas already. But give it some thought. We need to make a decision next month, because I'll start telling, and I'll want to use Northwest Kansas again. They'll probably hold a dab and do that because it's been a successful team for us. We talked about different street projects. We cannot do another Spring Valley Road project this year. The one we got a grant for this winter. Yesterday, we got permission that we can start now. And it's just the way the process is. So notified staff and engineer yesterday, we can start the process now, move forward. But to apply for phase 2 of a project, you have to have phase 1 done. Well, done doesn't mean done. It means that you have to go all through this process. We started closing this grant project out for the park, we just talked about earlier, the playground, back in March. And we had to wait till they came out and reviewed all the books. It's just the way the game's played, and that's the way it is. So it can't be a Spring Valley. What'd you say?
Look at your phone when you're done.
Look at my
please.
phone. Hang on. Did I miss something?
Just in case. I don't want to miss anything.
Hang on. Make sure what you sent to me here. An ordinance? Okay, hang on.
I used to get in trouble for passing notes
I
in
know we
school.
can.
Yeah. I think that constitutes having to buy donuts as well.
Well, he's doing 2 dinners already, so.
No, it's been done. It's been,
I was freaking out. For
yeah, she was afraid I missed something, but no, I hadn't. But thank you. Anyhow,
First time for everything.
I know, isn't it cool? I'm finally learning after all these years. But think of a project, but it has, like I said, street projects are good. Everybody says about having their playground project. I would say no, and here's why I'd say no. You have a playground group that is very active. Next year, if we want to go for grant next year, we have to get a survey again because HUD is now moving. We have to go back to the 2015 estimate, which shows our low moderate income dropping back to 41% or 40%, which, folks, is not out of line because that's what the county is, and that's what all the neighboring communities are. So, and they're a group that has and they have the method down place. So I would recommend don't do playground yet. Use this grant one more time, get some more funds in this community. So give it some thought. We'll put it on the meeting in June and have more discussion later.
Any other questions? We'll move on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Brown?
Thank you, Mayor. Flint Hills Regional Council meeting last week. Not much really going on. I guess we're in a little bit financial shape better. I'd like to say I think things are looking up. They've kind of really tightened the belt there, and they've got some funds coming in over grant money and things like that. It makes it look a little bit better. So we did pick up a new member too. Harrington joined us also. So it's moving along with Flint Hills Regional. I was at the playground park the other day, and I saw probably a 12 to 13-year-old teenager clear at the top of the slide on the outside. She was about 20 feet off the ground on the outside. Had climbed up the outside, and the police car came around the corner, and she boogied off there when she saw the police car coming around the corner, because the officers then came up and were checking out the park, and she took off. But it's just concerning a little bit that, and I know, Chief, you've got your people over there. Both times I've been over there, police officers have showed up and did a walkthrough, and that's good. I'm just a little concerned sometimes that if she'd have fell off there, she'd have fell 20 feet down and probably head first. And it's nothing we can do about it probably, unless we had somebody on guard. Then we just can't do it. It's just something we need to be aware of that's going on, and the police department continue to do the checks that they're doing, because I know they are, because I've seen them there multiple times. And good for you, Chief Greasy, having them over there like that. I think it was last Sunday too. 2 of them showed up. I saw 2 of them over there. just walking through the park. And it kind of changes everything when they show up and everything, so. I don't have anything else, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Albritton?
Don't have much. Animal shelter got canceled last for this month, so we'll have another one coming up in June. Other than that, be careful. Tornado season. Had a little scare today. I think we all made it through, but everybody just make sure you have a plan because it can change fast. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Fitzgerald?
I have a couple things, but I'll talk very quickly. So this past May the 9th, we finally did the hanging of the downtown flower baskets. Got one block done. Thank you to the city for being on board to help water them this year. And I can say right now, Mother Nature has helped us a whole lot right now with the watering, so that's a good thing. But really, again, thanks to our Parks Department and really the citizens of Junction City for stepping forward financially and also would work or help to make that happen. So the goal is if we're able to keep them alive this year, we can add maybe next year, that's something that's in the works. MAC breakfast, Military Affairs Council breakfast is this Thursday. It's out at the Milford Conference Center at 7:30. So if you wanted to go to that breakfast, you probably still go to the chamber and see if you could still get on board for that. But the USD 475 Superintendent Dr. Ingleston is the guest speaker at that. We've got Memorial Day events coming up. The one that's here in Junction City at our Opera House, our MAC Director, Craig Bender, is the guest speaker for that. And then followed by that, we have the ceremony up on Fort Riley as well. So there's a couple events, and I think there's something later at Heritage Park as well.
Knights of something Templar. Yeah.
So one of the things that's going on with Fort Riley right now, too, is a lot of their top leadership is changing command out. So a lot of them, we had a lot of farewells lately, and we'll be having some welcoming some of the new top leadership as well really soon. I recently attended the Fort Riley retirement ceremony. At that retirement ceremony this time, there were 17 soldiers. That's not all that retired, but that's 17 that chose to go to a formal ceremony. Of those 17, that equated to 300 years of active duty service and 45 combat tours. And of those 17, 7 of those soldiers, retired soldiers now, chose to stay in the state of Kansas. 3 of them here in Junction City, 3 in Manhattan, and 1 in a town called Overbrook, Kansas, which I'm not sure where that's at. But again, soldiers are retiring. They are, some are choosing to stay here, so that's a good thing. We had our annual, or the 31st annual Run for the Wall Sunday. There was over 418 or so motorcycles that came into Junction City to stop at the State of Kansas Vietnam Memorial. We had a nice ceremony there. Lieutenant General retired Perry Wiggins was our guest speaker. So we had our ceremony, and him and I presented 37 Vietnam veterans with the Vietnam Veteran lapel pin. And most of those were riders that were in that group, and some of them were from our local communities here as well. So the riders are on their way to Arlington Cemetery in Washington, D.C. for Memorial Day for that ceremony that'll be up there. And and the last thing I'd like to just mention is Saturday weekly cleanup projects continue, and I'd just like to tell all the volunteers that come out faithfully every weekend, thank you for helping. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
MPO meeting last week. The good news from that is the monies requested for 2019 are less than what was needed to fund the projects that they're working on for our area. So they sent the second installment, which was actually less money, and 2019 is going to kind of match that. So a little bit less money there. Chamber meets next week, so I'll have a report on that at our next meeting. And then Relay for Life is this Friday evening and night and Saturday morning at the Junction City High School. So I wanted to mention that that's out there as well. That's it.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone that came out and donated for Match Day last week. That was a tremendous showing by our community. Over $97,000 was raised locally, plus another $40,000 matching funds on the other side, which was tremendous. Just shows what a big heart this community has about supporting things, and especially in our area. I don't really have much tonight. Like Mr. Dinkle went to the flood update. I'd like you to give a little update if you wouldn't mind for that.
It was on my list.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
We'll start with that then. We had a flood update this morning. Gary Burgess did a great job of leading the group. Representatives of city, county, law enforcement, Granby Plaza, Milford were all there. Milford Corps people as well. Big concern about the flood. You know, we are now at the second or third highest lake level ever. Still about 17 feet down from 93. In about another 12 feet, it'll start coming out the emergency. A lot of concerns. The biggest concern right now is the Smoky. A lot of flooding potential out there. I talked to or emailed the city manager or city administrator Chapman today, reaching out to him. They made 1,800 sandbags today, and they're hoping it's not going to be quite as bad as they thought. But they're hard working over there, worry about it. We're lucky here, probably in the Smoky, is the fact that the Republic is not flowing. And so it was interesting. Lindsay and I drove out to the ramp up there by Grand Gate, and to see the Smoky Hill River going north. Because it's taking the path of least resistance, it's making that curve. Instead of going east into Kansas, it goes north, and it'll work back then. But so we're not getting the pressure of two rivers in at the same time. So that should help us as to go along from there. I think staff's in good shape. The fire department has reached out with our EMTs and some of the rescue we have. They'll work with other communities if they need rescue help and do some mutual aid work with those. I think that's a great thing to help our communities out, and hopefully we don't need it here. So tornado issues today, a concern. Of course, we had a lot of people hitting the city office. We were having Bloodmobile on the first floor, on the main floor. Rena and Haley were doing orientation for new pool staff. We took them all downstairs, had a lot of people come in. As I was a mean city manager and told people they had to get the dogs out of the building, I mean, we kept them on the first floor. We had a lot of dogs come in. We just have to keep them out of there. I mean, it's not a place for dogs. And I mean, I know it's their pet and their baby and everything else, but there's also other people there that have fear. So you just got to work out how we go with that. About 2 years ago or so, the Crossroad Leadership Class, which is the local leadership class, that's when Dennis Beeson was here yet. Their project was to build the shade shelter in the park, and you know it's there. It looks beautiful. They, as part of their fundraising, they gave away naming rights, and the shelter is going to be named the Kenny Langdon Memorial Shade Shelter. Couldn't think of a better person to name it after, but they're doing a dedication this Thursday at 5 o'clock, and so I'll be out of Fort Riley then for an event out there. But anybody wants to go Thursday at 5 o'clock, they're going to do a dedication of the shelter. So, yeah, these are some of the charts we got this morning. So. Pages there on the flood. So that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Stites.
Just doing some ordinance review between Ms. Miller as well as Chief Johnson to get those ready for the commission in the next few meetings. Besides, I have nothing else this time.
Thank you.
That's why she was after
Ms.
me.
Miller?
Nothing, sir.
Ms. Melton?
No.
Chief Breesy? Chief Johnson? See you here? No? Mr. Ibarra?
Mr. Mayor, we celebrated Public Works Week by having a luncheon out at Public Works, so city staff, commissioners are all invited to come out and have lunch with us from o'clock. So
Tomorrow?
Friday.
Friday. Okay. Thank you.
That's all right. Thank you.
Mr. Youngers? Mr. Lazier? Mr. Gurman?
Nothing, sir, thank you.
Mr. Osborne? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we're out. Thank you.